For the exact same document with identical content, the Chinese version is always the thinnest. Take the UN Charter as an example. The Chinese version has about 26,650 characters, while the English version requires some 55,600 characters. With a unified typesetting format, the number of pages of a Chinese document is usually only 50 to 60% of that of the English version or versions in other alphabetic languages. Chinese characters are the most efficient written script on this planet. First, let's talk about a concept called information density. Chinese characters inherently have the property of a built-in compression package. Because English is linear, one-dimensional, but Chinese characters are different, they are two-dimensional. Every single Chinese character encapsulates a huge amount of information. For instance, how do you write the word internationalization in English? It's internationalization, a full 20 letters long. You have to read all 20 letters from left to right before your brain registers that this means internationalization. But in Chinese, it's just 3 characters, 国际化, 国际化. Claude Shannon, the leading expert in information theory and the renowned figure who defined the concept of the bit, came up with a concept called information entropy. What is information entropy? Simply put, it's a measure of how much information a language and its writing system can carry. Shannon's early calculations showed that the information entropy of an English letter is about 4.0 bits, while that of a Chinese character stands at an impressive 9.65 bits. This means the information carried by each Chinese character is more than twice that of an English word. Every Chinese character is a highly compressed information package. Take the word 舅舅, 舅舅, for example. In English, it's uncle. But what does uncle mean? It can refer to a mother's brother, a father's brother, or even an older man from the neighborhood. If you want to express it precisely in English, you have to say my mother's brother. Yet in Chinese, just the 2 characters 舅舅 clearly convey the generation, blood relation, and gender. The same goes for terms like 嫂子, elder brother, elder brother's wife, 弟妹, 弟妹, younger brother's wife, and 妯娌, Julie, wives of brothers. The rosy clouds at dusk fly with the lone wild duck. The autumn river blends with the sky in a single hue. Every time I read this line, I'm struck by it. In just 14 characters, it paints almost the entire universe, so much so that I can never find a picture that does it justice. We've talked about the efficiency of writing so far, and now let's move on to the efficiency of reading. There is a Chinese idiom, 一目十行, 一目十行, which means to take in 10 lines at a glance. This is practically impossible in English because our brains take a green channel when processing Chinese characters. The human brain involves 2 main neural pathways in reading. One is the dorsal pathway, primarily responsible for phonological processing. The other is the ventral pathway, responsible for visual recognition and semantic connection. Medical studies have shown that Chinese readers activate the ventral pathway significantly more strongly than English readers. This means when we read Chinese, it's more like looking at a picture or recognizing an object. For example, when you see the character ma, horse, you don't need to pronounce the sound ma in your head. You directly picture a horse. English works no such way. Words like fish and salmon have no apparent visual connection. But in Chinese, when you see characters related to water, even if you don't know how to pronounce them, you can almost certainly tell they have something to do with things in water. Some people might think Chinese characters are so efficient just because there are a lot of them. In fact, this is a misconception. Conservatively estimated, the total number of English words exceeds 1 million, and it keeps growing by 4,000 to 8,000 terms every year. By contrast, there are only about 3,500 commonly used Chinese characters. For Chinese people, mastering just these thousands of characters allows us to form an infinite number of new words. Take the word 激光, laser, for example. In English, laser is an acronym for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation, a completely newly coined term from a long technical phrase. But in Chinese, 激, to stimulate, and 光, light, are 2 well-known characters. Putting them together creates a word that is both accurate and expressive. Even an elderly woman who has never studied physics can guess it's a very powerful kind of light. There are more everyday examples too. 公鸡, 公鸡 rooster, 母鸡, 母鸡 hen, and 鸡蛋 egg, for instance. In English, they are rooster, hen, and egg, three totally unrelated words. This constant capacity for innovation makes Chinese incredibly adaptable in the face of the technological explosion. No matter what new technologies emerge in the future, we never need to create new characters. We just rearrange and combine the ones our ancestors left us, and we can describe the entire universe. Let's continue. If conciseness in expression is horizontal efficiency, then Chinese characters' continuity across time is their vertical advantage. The most astonishing aspect of Chinese characters' efficiency is their semantic stability that transcends time and space. Alphabetic writing systems record sounds. When pronunciation changes, spelling has to change with it. Otherwise, the written word and spoken language become disconnected. Let me show you the opening lines of the Old English epic Beowulf. I honestly have no idea how to read it. But if you read Li Bai's poems, even though the pronunciation of modern Mandarin is vastly different from the Middle Chinese of the Tang Dynasty, the core meaning they carry remains almost unchanged. This is a romance unique to the Chinese people.